So today we're talking menopause on the show, and that is something that I know all too well, and I've been trying to get more help and awareness in the last year. New research shows that women experiencing menopause in Northern Ireland do not feel supported in the workplace. Today I'm talking to Carrieann Lackie. She is a member of staff at Co-op, and she has put together a guide on the menopause for the workplace. Welcome, Carrieann. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. So tell me about the guide and how it all came about.
Yeah, so like yourself, I know a great deal, on perimenopause, which is the time beforehand. And I was really suffering and joined the Co-op, and they had a menopause policy. In that policy, it was kind of 2D, not really brought to life. I started some coffee mornings to kind of see if there was any traction in them, to just go through my journey. And it took a life of its own, really, to be honest. We wanted to make sure that that policy, because there's so many people in Co-op, came to life. Managers and ladies alike could have conversations. So that was how it came about, really, is we don't want people suffering in silence.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of women do suffer in silence because they're actually frightened to talk about it. It's a little bit like when we were younger. We're like children around period, you know. So basically, this lack of support on menopause. Why do you think there is a lack of support?
Because we're not talking about it, like you've just said there. Oh, period. You know, like as if it's like something really unusual, when really it really is just something that happens. Like a teenager transitions from being a teenager to an adult, we transition the other side. And women, one of the things when I was running a bit of training in Co-op myself, actually, is one of the leaders came to me and said, I can't believe that women don't talk about this with each other. I thought it would be common knowledge like everything else. I said, you know what, I think there's almost like a little bit of an embarrassment, as in, there's a couple of things. I think there's an embarrassment of, oh, I'm here. Oh my gosh, I didn't think I was here at that point. But the people don't know that they are, you know, because perimenopause, which is a time before you give up your periods go, and a lot of people maybe just get anxiety, depression, have very weird things happen to them, and they just think that's something that's happened to them, not perimenopause. So they're not necessarily thinking, well, I'll have a conversation. Where this is where the menopause coffee mornings, the policy and the guide all teach you that you could possibly be perimenopause and how to get support.
Yeah, I mean, I've totally noticed that when I suddenly mention it, you get this sort of reaction. But isn't it a normal part of a woman getting older, in the same way that when we were young, a woman a girl, or depending on your age, having the period. So this lack of knowledge, why do we not have enough knowledge on this subject?
From what I've researched, and this is before I came into Co-op, I believe that GPs aren't actually trained. So it comes from that kind of level where before I joined Co-op, I actually emailed and kind of pushed the GMC, the General Medical Council, to kind of explore the training of these people. Because, you know, if you've got a bit of anxiety and depression, you're not speaking to each other, you kind of go, actually, I'm going to go to the GP and they're just going to tell me. So that needs to kind of change, which is what we've been pushing with in Co-op as well. I call them my menopause warriors. So it's going out there, having that conversation, you know, and now getting that guide, tabling it, and we can't be ignored, can we then?
So was it difficult to get the guide out and recognised?
I've been really lucky in Co-op. I think for what we stand for, everybody's embraced it, from senior leadership, and then we've also done actual virtual training as well for leaders. So, and because I've got all these warriors, instead of being embarrassed on a call, you know, in work, and you kind of have a bit of brain fog, which we might have on this call, you know, I'm talking here, is that you go, I'm sorry, I've just had a menopause moment. So you're making it normal. So when something comes, it doesn't feel like a big thing. It's just a part of who we are and what we do. And the more normalized it becomes, it isn't difficult. You're not against anything, really. So it's been really, really good here.
So you've mentioned what your managers are doing and how Co-op are really supporting you. So what about other managers? What practical things can managers do in general in the workplace?
Yeah. First of all, download the guide. Go to Google, go and download that guide and the policy. Have a read of it. Actually, it's not that you need to be like a GP and understand everything, but think about, how can I approach this? And for me, it's not just about, I'll wait for that person to come and have a conversation and say, actually, I might need some reasonable adjustments. I might need to have a nap in the afternoon, or I might need to do work at 10 in 9. It's about recognising that in someone else and supporting them. So it's the acknowledgement and then the actual being aware. So that's what they can do. Get the guide, get themselves educated, and then look after the fellow humans.
So you mentioned brain fog as a symptom, which, yeah, I recognise that quite a lot. What other symptoms are there?
So if you're sitting there listening, I think two of the biggest are anxiety and depression. So people who've never had anxiety, it's a different feeling. Also, a feeling of impending doom, believe it or not. So just a feeling that nothing's going to be great. And for me personally, I got erythromelalgia. So my body just started becoming allergic to everything. So you'd have an air freshener in a car, my eyes started streaming. There can be insomnia. I think one of the biggest things, and it's about the work thing, is you feel detached from yourself. So you just wake up and you don't feel like who you are, and you're wondering what it is. And I think that's the key, is you don't know who you are. And I think one of the biggest things, and I kind of laugh about it quite funnily, is you wake up one day, you've got muffin top and hair on your chin, and you're thinking, what happened? I suddenly was very, very fit, and now I've got to kind of wear a girdle to keep my waist, and and nobody really knows that that's going to happen. And I think there's some of the kind of major ones. I mean, in my menopause warrior group, I would say anxiety, depression, and insomnia are the three key ones.
And I suppose I should mention as well HRT, because that again is another it's another thing that people are really frightened of. But what is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think HRT is amazing. I think what I've just been saying it to some of the ladies in the canteen at the co-op, that we need to be able to write down your symptoms, yeah, and then go to your GP. And you have a look at, I always call it the HRT toolkit, which includes progesterone, estrogen and testosterone, because we have as much testosterone as we do estrogen. And then say, right, okay, because everybody's menopause is different. It's like everybody's pregnancy, it's like everybody's development is different. So you've got to have the right concoction for your body. So don't listen to anybody else. You've got to, I would call it, be your own clinical trial with it. But without a doubt, yes, because it stops early onset of osteoporosis, which is big for women, and it helps support us not getting heart disease.
Well, you have created this wonderful community and I can't wait to join it. So tell me then, where can we get this guide?
So go into Co-op website, you can just type in the menopause policy and the manager's menopause guide, or just Google it. It comes up on Google, so it's fantastic. And start having the conversations. Don't ever be embarrassed about just saying I'm having a menopause moment. Like when women have brain fog, they're kind of like, and that's what gets them scared, that they don't think they can be professional. We're just actually, and everybody kind of like laughs for a minute and you go, right, there you go.
Brilliant, Carrieann. Thank you so much for joining us today on a topic that is very close to my heart.
Wonderful. Thanks for having me.